Now let's talk about why people avoid pursuing impossible goals. And really, it's all very personal. And so really this course is about you. It's not really about anybody outside. It's not about the outer world. Obviously, the goal is to create something in the real world. But what we're really doing is first creating the capacity inside of you to do something that you don't think you can do. It's a really wonderful experience to do that. That's why I teach this, because I've done it, and I want to share this with as many people as I can. So let's look at some of the reasons why we don't want to pursue these things. Well, first of all, maybe we just don't believe it. We have self-doubt. And self-doubt, there's many flavors, we'll get into that, but we just don't think we can. I'm not smart enough, I don't have enough money, and the list can go on and on. And the thing is, those things are not really reasons, but your mind will give you these reasons, and the reasons are protective because, and I found this, look, why do I teach this? Because I've struggled with goals, and we don't want to set goals because we're afraid we're going to fail. So there's that fear, whether it's our own personal, like, if I fail, I'm going to think I'm an idiot. Things like that. These are real obstacles to doing things. Now, the next category of possible fears is embarrassment. Like, again, right now, I'm not asking you to go tell anybody. In fact, I recommend that you don't tell anybody what you're doing right now. In this course, not that it's like a deep, dark secret, it's just because we want to cultivate your confidence to where you'll be able to receive the kind of negative feedback. And there's just something odd about human culture that if you begin to propose to do something that's out of the ordinary, especially with your social circle, you can risk having what's called social disapproval. Maybe your family will disagree. Maybe they say, "Hey, you want to be a guitarist in a rock band? It's like, I recommend you first, go make some money," or something like that. Or other people will just tell you. People are very frank with their opinions when they. It's like, I don't think you're going to make it. It's like, why don't you do something easier? Like, what's the big deal? Like, or who, what are you trying to prove? There's, the whole thing. All the reasons that other people are going to give you why this is silly and why you're going to fail. So because of that, then don't start, right? Why would you start if you knew you were going to fail? And the last one is a kind of a safety, like. And again, I've done this too, which is why I teach, because if you stick with me, you won't make the same mistakes I made. And my mistakes were running out of money a lot of times, or not really taking care of my body properly while I was pursuing, giving too much, you could say. I put too much of my energy into it. I put too much of my money. I put too much, I took time away from my family to work on these goals. And what I learned from those experiences, that actually, when you take care of yourself, when you put yourself first and you put your family first, that your strategy for achieving these impossible goals will get much better. And I found in the process of achieving certain impossible goals, looking back, I had wasted 95% of my energy. And we'll get more into that as things go. But it's a real concern, and I'm not trying to have you gloss over that. In no case, in no instance in this teaching do I want you to gloss over or pave over, whether like the Nike commercial, like, my foot's in pain, but I'm going to keep running. No, this is not a path of pain. If something's hurting, and whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, those are actually secret keys to your success. If you pave over them, if you ignore them, that actually is the way of sowing the seeds of failure. God, I have so many stories. I'm not going to go into any of them. But I'll just say in a general way, sometimes you get a little inkling. It's like something's wrong, like an agreement. Maybe you've made an agreement with a business partner, and there's just like, I don't know, there's something a little off, but let's do it anyway. It's that let's do it anyway thing. And then sure enough, a year later or two, that little thing that you were kind of looking at just like blows up in this giant disaster, and the whole thing, just falls apart. I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me. And until I learned certain lessons, and these are the lessons I'm teaching you, how to start in a really solid way to minimize those risks, right? We don't want to, there's no need to take needless risks in pursuing your impossible goals. So for this lesson, what I'd like you to do is grab another sheet of paper and now go back to the list you made in the previous lesson and take the goals that you marked with 5 stars. Let's not worry about anything less than 5 stars. And then I want you to write those goals down again and articulate them in the best way that you can. And then underneath each one, as you write one, and then I want you to start writing all the reasons why, you can't do it, why you shouldn't do it. And that's really this whole assignment is that we're not going to cure anything. We're not going to solve anything. I just want you to get some familiarity with what you're saying, what your mind is saying, what you think other people might say. Don't ask them. don't ask them yet. This is because, again, we're nowhere near getting started, really. We're just getting you warmed up. So, yeah, write down with each goal, write down some of the reasons why you're afraid, why it won't work, why it's risky, what's the worst that can happen. And we're not going to pave over any of it. We're just going to sit there and have that list and go through this exercise. And then, we'll circle back in the end and see how did it go. Leave a message for me. Let me know if what happened from this. And don't scare yourself. We think when you get right down to it, when you really start looking at yourself, most of us think that we're the worst person on the planet. And knowing that everyone thinks that is really very beneficial. It's beneficial to realize that you're not the only one that has negative things to say about yourself, about your goals, about the world. You're not alone. There's like 8 billion other people doing the exact same thing all day. And what makes the difference is if you follow along with me, you'll overcome that. You'll begin to see what those messages are really about, and that's what's going to free you up to achieve your goals. I hope you found this interesting, and we'll just keep moving forward. Thanks a lot.